And everyone, welcome to the Options Mentor. And once again, we had a news-filled week that moved the market around, including a Fed announcement. Now we've made it through all that. And now we have a week coming up here with some news at the end of the week, but not much early on. We do have the GDP on Thursday, and we have the PCE on Friday. But overall, very tradable week. We did really well with my trade alert service. Had a trade on 2 days and closed it at 10% closed it at 7%. Some people got 10, some people got 7, depending on when you saw the alert and took it off on Friday. So a really good trade 2 days in. And also closed another one. We've been in a little bit, had to make a lot of adjustments, but it all worked out for a 10% profit on Thursday, I believe it was. And I wanted to just start out here before I get into the trades for this week and show you guys something. And that is just the 2025 results for my trade alert service. I believe we've had 15 trades, 13 of them profitable at this point. Now you see here this account size. First off, that was just an arbitrary number. I don't believe we've ever put a trade on that went north of $5,000 since I started this over a year ago, back in February of 2024. So the returns actually are all just based on whatever capital we used in the trade that we had. And you can do these trades, of course, bigger than what I do, smaller than what I do. In fact, I put these out, of course, smaller than what I do, just so I don't have people thinking you have to do a certain size. So a lot of times when I put out trade alert trades, they might be 2 contracts. I might be doing much, much more. But that way people know, hey, I don't have to do, if Mark does 20, do I have to do 20? No, you wouldn't, of course. Um, so I put all these trades out small for that purpose. And you could make them even smaller. You can trade along with some of these even in SPY. But the alerts come out before I ever put the trades on. I tell you exactly what I'm doing, strikes, dates, everything. But so far this year, doing really well. I believe since I started this service, February of 2024, I think we've had 2 losing months. It's done very well. And I just wanted to, sorry, toot my horn a little bit and show my appreciation too to all the traders who follow along with this and are doing well with it. So if you're interested in that, by the way, the link is in the description of this video where you can go over and join that trade alert service if you like. Or you can always email me if you have more questions, of course. All right, so let's get to the business at hand here. And we can just take a look here at the week we just went through. It was mainly just chopping along after that horrible week last week. We've been in a pretty good decline here as the market wrings its hands over threatened tariffs, a few tariffs on, of course. And I think we're getting a little more stability. And the VIX is now under 20. So I'm looking for this week to be more tradable, but I do think you have to be aware of the Thursday and Friday news that's coming out. And of course, at any time, things can happen. And remember, looming up there here soon, the April 2nd tariffs. Those go into effect on April 2nd. So I wanted to show you a trade idea I have. Now, you could do this one of two ways. One, you could put this on for next Friday. And what this is here is what we call a double long diagonal. Here, I'm going to try to get these numbers where you can read them a little better. There we go. And this trade, I just went up around, we closed on Friday at just under 70. I went up around 50 points. You could go up probably more, obviously more, and bought the 57.20, sold the 57.25. I went down to the 56.20, long put, and sold the short put at 56.10. So that's the basic structure of this trade. And as I said, you could make it even wider, get yourself more room. But as we look at this, for you to even have any troubles in this trade, it's going to have to get up or down near these edges. Well, let's see what kind of move that would take. Well, it would take about a 150-point move to the upside, and then on the downside, pretty much the same. 150-point move. If we don't get that, one way or the other, you can just let this thing work, go back and forth, get your time decay, and get out. And this does have good time decay. Look, it's $107 a day. And that means if you put it on for, say, at 1185, $1,200, if you just went for 10%, you're trying to get $120. Well, this is Sunday. I realize that, but let's just use the time decay and look at this. You could actually be out of this by midweek. Now, my guess says if you put this on, there's an excellent chance that you might have to be in it till Thursday or even Friday, but it doesn't expire until next Friday. So you're good on that. Most likely you could be out of this by Thursday, I think, maybe even sooner, as we saw here. Just look at the time decay here by the 25th. This is the 23rd. Just time decay alone, you've already made more than 10%. Now, you have to be aware, of course, that the volatility, the IV, the individual IV, in your Friday, in these options, by the way, the shorter ones are a little closer, can remain elevated. And kind of, if you look here, the Vega is 102, the Theta is 107. So a Vega really goes against you, meaning your long doesn't go up in volatility as much as the short does. Then you could get hamstrung a little bit along the way. Now, that doesn't necessarily ruin the trade. It's just something to be aware of, that vol could go against you and kind of hold up you getting out, because while time decay is working, volatility is elevating your shorts so much that you can't buy them back cheap enough, that type of thing. So that's something to be aware of. Now, if you wanted, now this is taking more of a chance, you can move this up to this week, meaning you'd sell the 28th of March, this Friday, and then you would be buying the 31st. So you'd be selling this Friday and then buying next Monday. Now, if you did that, it'll cost you $2,300. That's no joke there, is it? And you could make about 50% in the center on that based on expiration. Now, this trade, of course, doesn't look near as friendly on the edges, does it? So that's something you need to be aware of. Whenever you make a trade wider, many times, it makes you feel better because you have more room. But whenever you do that, bringing it in shorter term, this is what can happen. Shorter term trades work for you and against you much faster, right? We got faster time decay, don't we? But we can also get in trouble faster if it moves against us. So that's something that you always have to do, that trade-off. You have to decide if you think it's worth that risk or not. Because realistically, if we go out here and we sell the 4th, and then we buy the 7th, you're going to most likely, by the end of Friday, if we were anywhere near inside this trade, you'd most likely be out of it at your profit goal. If we're anywhere, around in the middle, and it still has another week to go. And by the way, in the meantime, if it does move against you, you're not getting hammered on the edges. You'll be able to repair this trade or whatever you need to do. So that is why I like these trades. And I like doing long Vega trades short term, but I want to do them not so short term that I'm taking big chances if there's big movement. And in this market, wouldn't you be afraid of big movement? We certainly have had a lot of that. Now, another thing I want to talk about here, I know you guys have been seeing a lot of double diagonals over the time here with me on the YouTube channel, also a lot of combo trades. Well, the reason for that is they work in this environment. You need width in this environment. And as I often tell people, if we were here at 19 and I put this double diagonal on and it works and things stayed the same, I'm just going to keep doing it. Why would I change something whenever it's working? Now, of course, you have to be a student of the market, aware of things, and things do change. But in the meantime, while something's working, if nothing changes in the underlying market, meaning, okay, I like to put these on generally between 15, maybe even up to 25 on the VIX. But if we get up on those upper edges or lower edges, maybe in the 14s, maybe up around 25 and higher, then I'm probably not going to do these. Even on the edges, there'll be better ideas, maybe butterfly combos. But in the meantime, you could do these. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't do butterfly combo trades here either. You certainly could. And if those are working for you and you like them, keep doing them. All I'm trying to bottom line here for you folks, if something's working and the market metrics are right and are correct, that you should be putting on that trade based on volatilities, then just keep doing it. Don't let anybody tell you you need to do something different if what you're doing is working and working well. So that is my idea for this week. This trade, I wouldn't probably put on until later on Monday. By the way, tomorrow is Monday and we have the PMI that's coming out in the morning. So you'll get past all that. Any kind of weekend movement that we may have this weekend, gap openings or whatever tomorrow, you'll be past that. So when you get to the afternoon, you will be hopefully past the big news of the day, be able to put on this trade. And that's just kind of a fine tuning thing. The reason I do that, I hate it when a trade goes against me the very first day I have it on. You don't want to put this on in the morning, maybe here. And then we have some crazy moving later on in the day we're up here. Now you're not in trouble, but it's just the thought of it. So this way, if I put it on later, I'm at least going to get into the second day. It's kind of a little thing I do, but I really like it because in this market, you've seen a Jekyll and Hyde, meaning the morning's one way and the afternoon's another a lot. So that's why I like to wait a little later in the day to put on new trades. And many times I even do it when I adjust trades. However, if things are too haywire against you, you'll have to go ahead and adjust even earlier. But that's what I'm liking this week so far. As always, if something changes in the market, volatilities go sky high or something, I might be back over to the butterfly combos. And if for some reason I don't see this happening, by tomorrow afternoon, volatility is cratered and we're down under 15 on the VIX, then I might do something different. But chances are between 15 and 20 on the VIX, even a little low 20s, I'll be looking at something like this tomorrow. Maybe later in the week, then you could add another trade. You could do a butterfly combo or something. That's the kind of thing, by the way, you can learn about every day over at arimer.com with me. All the links are in the description to join me over there for my Traders Lounge, my opening bell where I go over what's looking good for the day every market day, half hour before the market opens. And of course, my trade alert service. By the way, you can bundle those together and save yourself a lot of money. And it's a really great deal. I challenge you to go over there and look that up just think about this. My Traders Lounge is 2 days a week. Opening bell is 5 days a week. The trade alert service, generally I put out one trade a week, sometimes two. And you get all that for $125 a month. Go try to find that somewhere else where you could be part of all that content. And by the way, you also have access to me. You can ask me questions throughout the day, whatever you want to do. So check that out over there. I think you'll find it's a great bargain. Go ahead and compare it to others. See what they're offering compared to that, because I'm right there for you every day. Email, and then, like I said, a lot of times I hold sessions every day. And 2 days a week, I have that Traders Lounge and help desk where I can help you with live trades if you have a problem or you just have a question. So anyway, as always, hit that like and subscribe button here to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. Check out the links in the description. That butterfly combo course is in there. One of my biggest, most popular courses I've ever put out. People really do like it. So check that out there. And I will be with you next week for another edition of the Options Mentor. Have a great week, everybody. Great trades to you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.